Hey, welcome back to Collision Hub. You know, in our industry right now, education and training is one of the most important things, not only for our technicians, but for our office employees, our adjusters, and our estimators. And when we look for training in this industry, we look to ICAR. But I think for a lot of us in the industry, we haven't been around for the whole process of ICAR. We kind of sometimes don't know the roots and the history. And we wanted to take a little bit of time to explore how ICAR came to be and where they're going in the future. Jason, thanks so much for taking the time.
Always my pleasure.
It is a busy show here at SEMA, so tell us a little bit about the history of how ICAR came to be in our industry.
Sure. ICAR is an international not-for-profit training organization. We were founded in 1979 by a group of inter-industry organizations. So certainly it was truly an inter-industry effort where we had vehicle manufacturers, collision repairs, insurers, related services, all coming together to form ICAR to address the needs of how to repair unibody vehicles as they came on the market. So historically, people were familiar with repairing full-frame vehicles, and then when the unibody came, it presented some new challenges, some new unique challenges for us. So the organization got together, and to address those training needs, worked very closely with a lot of the three-dimensional measuring equipment manufacturers, the tool and equipment segment as well, and got a lot of our early information from them, from some vehicle manufacturers, and try to share that knowledge through the ICAR instructor network throughout the U.S.
Right. I know, I can remember that time being in the shop, still pretty young, we're working in the family business, and we kind of thought that the unibody was the end of the world for a lot of us, and a lot of panic, and then ICAR really kind of came along and fixed some of our fears. We're at a point in the industry where we're kind of right back at maybe one of those pivotal moments, a complete change in the way we approach repairability, and ICAR's doing a lot to step up and help with that now.
Yeah, we are. With the advent of advanced high-strength steels, a continual lightweighting of the vehicles in an attempt to meet the CAFE standards, vehicle manufacturers have turned to more high-strength steels, have turned to more aluminum, not for just closure panels, but for structures as well. And these materials are materials that we're not as familiar with working with. A lot of people still believe that it's just a steel vehicle, when in fact that is not the case. The high-strength steels, the ultra-high-strength steels are extremely heat-sensitive. We need to take new approaches, new techniques, be cautious with heating and be cautious with welding. We're starting to see more riveting applications, rivet bonding applications, weld bonding, spot welding. So the technology truly has changed, and even within the last 5 years, the amount of high-strength steel and ultra-high-strength steel that the vehicle manufacturers are employing in their vehicles has just increased significantly. And anybody who's approaching a repair the way they used to do it, the way they've always done it, there's a good chance that they may be improperly repairing that vehicle. Customers today are when they're buying a new car, they're looking for 5-star crash ratings along with all the creature comforts and everything. But those 5-star crash ratings have really become a tool that customers are looking for when they're purchasing a new vehicle. They want to make sure that they're putting their family in the safest vehicle possible. They're using the restraint systems, the high-strength steels, these new materials to protect those occupants from those collisions. And if we're not repairing those properly, we're taking those 5-star crash rating vehicles down to a 4-star or 3-star, 2-star. So one question we've been asking is, how many stars are you willing to compromise by not knowing what you're working on, by not getting the proper information, by not using the right equipment, by not having trained technicians, trained estimators, to make sure that from the start to the finish, right from the estimating process, that everybody knows exactly what that repair plan is going to be, so that we are achieving a complete and safe repair, which is part of the vision of ICAR.
Right. Now, when I think about my training and I look at all that ICAR offers, that's kind of a daunting piece of paper to look at, all the different classes and the different levels of education and products that you can learn on. But ICAR's done a lot of work recently to kind of help each level and each person in the shop for their job role know exactly what they should be taking right now.
Sure. Yeah, with the ICAR Professional Development Program, which we launched in July of last summer, or 2010, we really went to a role-based focus. Almost an academic approach, if you will. Historically, ICAR had anywhere between 13 and 15 classes. We've expanded that class base, over 100 classes that are all available. They're role specific, they're meeting the needs of each individual. So we have painters taking refinishing classes, we have steel structural technicians taking structural repair classes, so that each person is getting the knowledge that's required to do their job. And again, it ties right back in the vision of ICAR that every person in the industry, current and future, has the necessary knowledge and skills relevant to their position to achieve a complete safe repair. So the role-based training really ties right in the vision of ICAR that we've had for many, many years.
Now, when I'm thinking about taking those classes within my role and I look at what's available in my market area, is there some value in taking those classes in the order that they're recommended?
Yeah, absolutely. As you progress from Pro Level 1 to Pro Level 2 to Pro Level 3, there is certainly an advancement of that knowledge. So to understand how high-strength steels are affected by heat, it's important to know that prior to going into perhaps a spot welding class where we're talking about how to make the spot welds. The background information on the whys can take place in that Pro Level 1 area, some of that more theoretical type information. As we start getting into more higher advanced technology, that's where we start looking at the higher Pro Level 2 and 3 courses. So there's absolutely some background information that's important.
Now, I look back, every now and then I get in the mail and I go online, enter my ID, and I check through my training and what all I've taken. And I began taking ICAR classes in 1995. Now, as I look and other technicians look at our list of training, are there some classes that we should be considering maybe retaking that we've taken in the past that have been updated?
Yeah, we've updated a number of our courses. As long as you've taken one of the tested courses in the last 10 or 12 years, most of those courses are still applicable because, again, a lot of that theory around GMA MIG welding, around adhesive bonding, that technology hasn't changed so significantly that that information is no longer pertinent. It's the newer courses, like the best practice for high-strength steel course that we've got coming out next fall or next February. It's the aluminum courses. We start to see more aluminum. It's really keeping up with technology and making sure that the role relevant training that you're taking is really relevant to what you're working on. So as new technologies come along, we'll continue to update those where appropriate in those courses, and then offer new courses as we start getting into more MIG brazing in the near future, and we start doing riveting on steel structure vehicles. We'll be there to make sure that we're addressing those training needs.
That's great. It's a great way to think about education is not a finish line in this industry.
Yeah.
Every year you're constantly adding to your knowledge base and your skill level. So, and ICAR does a great job of continuing to bring us those classes to keep us moving along.
Yeah, the vehicles continue to evolve, and we need to make sure that everybody in the industry is evolving as well to make sure that they're that they've got that necessary knowledge and skill covered.
Well, when we're talking about evolving classes, what are some of the things in 2012 we're going to look for ICAR?
Well, again, our most exciting one is really kind of a game changer, I think, for the industry. This best practices for high-strength steel is really a course where we're been working with the industry, the inter-industry, to make sure that we're addressing the needs of how to repair these vehicles. Vehicle manufacturers have a lot of good information on how to remove and install a part, for example, which methods you want to use to do that. But how do you anchor the vehicle properly? How do you make sure that you've done a complete damage analysis on that vehicle to make sure that you've identified all the damage on that vehicle? These materials are so strong you can't straighten them. We can't section high-strength steel without a vehicle maker recommendation. So it's really important that technicians keep up to date on these advanced high-strength steels. And the old ICAR general sectioning guidelines are something of the past. That was for mild steel vehicles, and now vehicles have changed. And if you're still applying those general sectioning guidelines to these high and ultra high-strength steel vehicles, again, you might be compromising one or two or more of those stars.
Right, it's a great point, because a lot of us, we felt that we got some great ground rules early in our career, and we still are kind of trying to put those same ground rules to play, but we kind of have to think about our estimating and our repair process is just completely different.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Right from the start, it's important to make sure that the estimator, that the auto physical damage appraiser, that they're on the same page with what is the proper way to repair this vehicle, which parts do we have to replace on it, making sure that you've got all the airbag and restraint system components replaced properly, and then communicating that information to the technician, making sure that they have the skills to perform those repairs.
That's great. Well, in our industry, knowledge and skill are two different things, but they definitely go together, and ICAR does what it takes to give you all the knowledge that you need when you go to that car. So be sure to go on the website, visit the ICAR website, learn about all the classes that are available in your training path, and then visit and see what all the training classes that are available in your area, and make sure you're up to date and repairing the cars correctly, because like Jason said, we don't even want to sacrifice one-star quality on the crash safetiness. So we'll be back a little bit later with ICAR. We're going to talk about some more of the advanced type classes, some of the aluminum, some of the riveting, and do a little bit of demonstrations with them. Thanks.